How impressed have you been with the Mavs' ability to
absolutely. 1, 2, 3, 4.
win on the road and win without Luka recently?
Well, there's certainly two things that going into the season would have been pretty unexpected, to be honest with you. The road performance after winning 9 road games last year and 9 road games the year before has been outstanding. They've really played with a great togetherness and a great chemistry on the road. And winning games without Luka, obviously, especially on the road against the caliber of competition, certainly is eye-opening. And it speaks to the depth of the team. It speaks to the fact that other players are stepping up into the opportunities. They get to play more and to play more significant, more important roles throughout the course of the game. So it's really, really impressive what they've done.
And what do you make of this Raptors team? What do you think of what they got going on with Pascal and Fred and?
Well, what I make of it is that because of winning a championship last year, I do think there's a lot to be said for the championship shine that you get after winning. And so I think that's brought out the best in everybody here. Clearly, when you're a champion, you want to defend it, and you want to defend it with pride and honor. And I think that's a lot of the reason why you see that a team that lost Kawhi but still has very good players, even though a lot of those players have been hurt, missing, I think in Lowry's case, he's missed 11 games this year. Ibaka's case, he's missed 10. They're without Marc Gasol and Pascal Siakam right now, but they just won a game the other night without those players and Norman Powell and other starters out. I think that you see here that there's just a tremendous motivation to defend and honor the championship that they just won with a lot of pride. And so, look, it's a group, and it's a good coach too. Beyond the fact that it's a lot of tough-minded players who were here last year, you got a great coach in Nick Nurse who clearly showed his ability and mettle last year in the playoffs.
We have a very, very serious man who just walked by us. What have you made of this season from him? You're calling, I guess, 90% of games. You're very up close. What have you thought of his season?
Huge jump from last year. Unexpectedly big jump from last year. Thought he would be better. Never my wildest dreams did I think he would go from 21, almost 8 rebounds and 6 assists to being an MVP candidate and averaging a triple-double for a month. I expected a jump. I didn't expect a leap. And it's been, extraordinary to watch it. He's must-see TV night in, night out. He does things to make other players better. And the numbers are great, and nobody loves going over numbers and stats more than me and sharing those with the viewers of our telecast. But I think the thing that's the most important number is that it's translating into wins. Stats are great, but, the reason we play this game is a competition amongst people to win the game. And these guys are winning at a really high rate, and Luka's got a big hand in that.
Have you been impressed with just Porzingis, this little run without Luka, and what have you thought of just the whole season as well from him?
Well, I think understandably 20 months removed from playing in a competitive game after his injury, I could certainly understand why there's been ups and downs, but I've been super impressed with his defense all year long. His rebounding is better, and then it's all come together with more opportunities to shoot and seeming like he's more comfortable in the offense, and so it's put together the best streak of his career if you're just going to go off a numbers standpoint from consecutive games of at least 20 points and 10 rebounds. So it's been a great stretch for Porzingis, and clearly he's been vital to why they've been winning games.
Do you think, I don't think the organization or Rick did, but do you think other teams possibly and maybe other media members and fans have just underrated the Mavs' depth?
Yes, I would say that certainly. And it's understandable. There are players here who have had to work really hard for the things that they've earned in the NBA, and I think maybe because there are players who were undrafted or unknown players coming from overseas, the pedigree wasn't there. So I think that probably speaks to some of the reason why sometimes those things are underrated. And the other thing too is when you haven't been part of winning, like a lot of these guys have. These guys have been young players here for the last 2 or 3 years, but they haven't really been part of winning at a high level. And so, that's what is going to get you attention and get you respect and get you really noticed in the NBA is when you're part of a winning program. So I don't disagree with your point. I think that probably is at least part of the reason why is they just haven't shown that they can do what they do and it contribute to winning the way that it has this year.
In a way, is this team almost a year ahead of schedule, and do we have to rethink expectations?
Well, I think as part of the head of schedule, I mean, certainly I would agree with that. As far as expectations go, I think Rick would be the first one to tell you why the way they've taken a jump this year. And he did say this. Rick said this to me and to Chuck Cooperstein on Media Day. I'm not going to get into predictions and things like that because I don't want to set limitations. So, I think he sees a team that had great potential going into the year. They are fulfilling on that potential at a very, very high level. And so at this point, I would say just keep on enjoying the ride and, whatever your expectations are whatever your expectations are. But maybe the best way to put it is so many great things have happened. Don't put limitations on it. Just enjoy it. And I think good things are going to keep on happening.
Don't want to keep you too much longer, but I did want to ask you this. You've came a long way in this business. What has it been like to call Mavs games, work with Mr. Harper, and
sit right back yeah, for sure.
What's it been like? What's the journey been like?
It's the literal dream come true. I grew up in Dallas and went to upper deck seats at Reunion Arena a few times a year because we had the passbook coupons where you could get 2 for 1 for select games. So you get to see the games against the Clippers or something like that back in the 80s. You wouldn't be getting to see the Celtics come in town when Larry Bird was there or Dr. J with the 76ers. But it was great to go to those games back then and to be a part of it and to be a small part of a championship organization and the enthusiasm about Dirk's career and to be there for all of those moments and to get to have a hand and a part in chronicling that and documenting that. I mean, look, I could go on and on. I mean, I could talk all the way up until tip-off time, and we're an hour away from tip-off time here in Toronto right now, so I could go on and on about it. But, to get to work with somebody that I watched growing up and Hart, who had so many great things to say about basketball and so many experiences about the game and knowledge about the game that I've been able to absorb over the year, to work with the guys I do in the TV crew, with Skin, with Bob Orligal in the past. I mean, I've worked with a lot of good people on and off the camera, and I've learned a lot and enjoyed it and had a lot of fun and made a lot of great friends and had a lot of great experiences and things that I thought, things that a kid from a town of, at the time, 1,200 people in Justin, Texas. A lot bigger than that now. A lot of people have moved there now. But when I was there, it wasn't very big. And so it's been, a lot of experiences that you wouldn't think somebody from that kind of situation would get to have. So I've been very, very lucky and very, very fortunate.
Appreciate your time, sir. We will
All right.
see you back in Dallas, Texas.
You got it. Happy holidays, everybody.
Hey there, NBA fans. For exclusive NBA content, subscribe to Fanatics View YouTube down below.